Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it's afternoon here. I'm in my log cabin in Alabama. This is Jimmy Hudson with Best Guitar Channel, and I want to introduce to you what's called intervals. What is an interval? An interval is the distance between any two notes. Why do I need to know this stuff? Well, because this is going to teach you how to build any chord or any scale anywhere on the neck, or on any instrument, actually. Intervals are the building blocks of music. And what we're doing is we're replacing the note name with the numerical value. And what that allows you to do is, let's say I want to play a G major scale. Well, okay, that's great. But if I want to take this up to A, I just move it up. So I'm just changing my my root note, okay? So I wrote an article years and years ago for Guitar Noise, a big website. I probably wrote this article in 97 or 98. And then my old business partner and co-founder of the American Guitar Institute, Crystal Becker, she and I went back and she helped me make new charts because she's a lot better with computer graphics than I am. And we reposted them on Guitar Noise probably back in like 2005 or something like that. So you're going to see it branded as American Guitar Institute, and that was the school that we had that we were supposed to have with Shawn Lane, and then Shawn's health declined and unfortunately was not able to join us. So that school was actually founded by myself, Jimmy Hudson, Crystal Becker, and Shawn Lane. So anyway, intervals. I want you to know this stuff because in order for you to understand the courses that we have on our school community right now, and the master classes we're doing, and even a lot of my other videos, I speak a lot in intervals. And it's really important that you know this stuff. And it's going to open up a lot of ideas. It's going to make a lot of sense to you. So what we're doing is we're replacing the note name with the numerical value. I have to start somewhere with the 1. I like to start with G. I usually teach the G major scale, the G minor pentatonic, the G chord, you know. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to play the G, which is the 6th string, 3rd fret. All right. Now, an interval is the distance between any two notes. So the distance between this G and this G sharp on the 4th fret is called a minor second, okay? Now we're gonna go, the distance between that G and the 5th fret is called a major second. So it's the distance between the root note and whatever note you're playing. All right, so I'm gonna go straight through and just name them out, okay? I just kind of want you to get used to making this pattern and seeing the pattern because we can change our root note to anything. So we got root note, minor second, major second, minor third, major third. Now I can keep counting. I can make this my perfect fourth, but the great thing about the guitar, my perfect fourth is also on the 3rd fret on the 5th string. There's my perfect fourth. This is my augmented fourth, otherwise known as a tritone. A tritone is equal distance between the root note and the octave, which is also the root note, okay? And the tritone is also known as the devil's tone, and also it's known as a flat 5 because the next note that I have is going to be my perfect 5th. So the distance between here and here is a perfect 5th, okay? And then I have my minor 6 or my augmented 5th. Augment means to sharpen, okay? Then I have my major 6. Now we're going to go down to the next string. Here I have my minor 7, then I have my major 7, then I have my root note or my octave. So root note, minor second, major 3rd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, augmented 4th, perfect 5th, augmented 5th, major 6, minor 7, major 7, octave. Now, I can keep counting up the fretboard, but I also want to demonstrate this. This is my root note, right? If I go backwards 1, that's also a major 7, okay? Here's my minor 7. Open E is going to be my major 6. Now, this is actually a quick way to find your relative minor. You're going to have relative minors and relative majors. So I always just tell people this is a really easy way to do it mentally because I'm all about just finding the best possible way to get what you need. I want you to use any and all tools available to get the job done, get those musical thoughts out. And I don't want you to have to overthink anything. So here's a quick tip. Root note right here. 1, 2, 3. 3 frets back, that's my relative minor. So G major is also E minor. What that means is if I would play a G major chord, I could play an E minor pentatonic over top of that. If I'm playing an E minor chord, I could play my relative major from E minor, so E, F, F sharp, G. My relative major would be going up 3 frets. Anyway, back to intervals. So my root note, I can count backwards, right? So root note, minor second, major second, minor third, major third. Now I can go to this perfect fourth, or I can go to this one, okay? But that also means that this is a major third. All right, so here's my perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, augmented fifth, or minor 6, major 6, minor 7. Now this minor 7, that also means here's a 6, okay? Now here's a minor 6 or a sharp 5, then open is going to be a 5. This is important, and I'm about to show you why, because watch here. G, right? That note G, that's your root note. Well, if we go to this perfect fourth, if we go back one, there's a major third, right? Now, open fourth string, that's your perfect fifth. All right? That's the low 3 strings of the G chord, right? Because, like I said, intervals are the building blocks of music. The root note, the third, and the fifth give you what's called a triad, which is what we know of as a chord, okay? A major third and a perfect fifth. Root note, major third, perfect fifth gives you a major triad. So in this case, it's going to be the G, and then the B, which is also here, okay? The D right there, all right? So then we have our G here, which is our octave, right? And then, so let's keep counting from here. Minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth. That's also the perfect fifth. That's the one part on the guitar, because of the messed up tuning of the guitar, where you're going to have the same note in the same region, okay? And then we have the augmented fifth, major 6, minor 7, major 7, root note, minor second, major third. Now, let's go back to root note, third, major third, and perfect fifth, okay? Root note, major third, perfect fifth. Root note, major third, perfect fifth. Root note, major third. Or root note, major third, perfect fifth. Root note. Now, right here, we got the perfect fifth, and then here we got the root note. Or some people like to play the G with that second string open. I learned years ago, because these are both correct, and a lot of people learn a G like that, but I double up right here. Either way is correct. And that's exactly the whole point of intervals. You can build chords, you can build these triads, you can build scales anywhere on the neck, and you can come up with so many different variations of them. Just like this. Root note, major third, perfect fifth. Root note, major third, perfect fifth. Root note, major third. I could sweep this as an arpeggio, because a chord is an arpeggio. The literal meaning of arpeggio is broken chord, okay? Or I cannot play this note and this note at the same time, right? And you don't have to go in order. So I'm gonna go straight from this root note to this fifth, the root note, the third, and then fifth, and then the root note, right? That's that E-shaped bar chord right there, all right? Here's the advantage of this. We need a 1, 3, 5 to make a major chord, right? So if I want to make one off of A, I make A my root note. I can move that whole shape up. Now, and we all know about movable shapes on the guitars, but this is why they're movable shapes, because intervals allow you to create this. So now let's look at the minor triad. A minor triad is a 1, a flat 3, and a 5, okay? 1, flat 3, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, 1, flat 3, okay? So that's my G minor chord. Typically major sounds really happy, minor sounds really sad. Now, let's just take all of our major and perfect intervals, okay? And let's make a major scale. That's your typical do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right, root note, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major 6, major 7, root note, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major 6. Now I'm going to continue on right here. I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go to this root note because I like the even 3 note per string. And then, so there's the octave or the root note, major second, major third, perfect fourth. Let's look at the major pentatonic, okay? The major scale is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right? Here's the thing. you have consonance and dissonance in music, okay? Dissonance adds tension, and that's important. However, if you don't know how to use that, you can get yourself in a pickle really quickly. So what the major pentatonic does is it eliminates the two dissonant notes of the major scale, which is your 4 and your 7, okay? So a major penta, meaning 5, tonic, meaning tone, is the major 5-tone scale. We have the root note, we have the major second, we have the major third, we have the perfect fifth, because we eliminate the 4, we have the major 6, and then we have the root note. So you can land on any note there, and you're going to be just fine with the major pentatonic. Now, let's look at the natural minor scale. That's a root note, a major second, a minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor 6, minor 7, root note. Now, let's form the minor pentatonic out of this, okay? And all we're doing is we're eliminating a couple notes, the dissonant notes, and that's going to be, so we have the root note, we're going to skip the second because that's dissonant here for the natural minor, all right? So we go to the minor third, root note, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7, root note. Now, we talked about this the last lesson. Do you remember how I was talking about modifying the minor pentatonic? Okay, now let's look at the dominant 7 pentatonic, okay? We discussed this on some of my previous videos. So here's what we're going to do. We have our root note. Instead of playing a minor third, we're going to play the minor pentatonic, right? Which is root note, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7, back to your root note, right? This is the dominant 7 pentatonic where we're able to superimpose basically the minor pentatonic over a major chord because we're going to turn the minor third into a major third. So instead of playing the minor third, we go straight to the major third. So that gives a very distinct sound. So root note, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7, root note. That's that distinct sound that we were using before. But now you know what we did. We changed one note in a minor pentatonic. Now, let's look at the blues scale. The blues scale is a root note, a minor third. It's the minor pentatonic, which is the root note, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7, right? But we're going to add in the devil's tone, the tritone. And we talked about this before, but now you know how the intervals are mapped out, right? So we have the root note, minor third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, and then the fifth. So, and then a minor 7 right there, right? And then our root note right there. Okay, so that is the blues scale. All right, because they love to have that. That tritone gives that evil sound. Now, if we combine the minor third and the major third of the dominant 7 pentatonic and the augmented fourth or the tritone of the blues scale, so we're combining these scales here. All right, this gives us a root note, and then a minor third, and then a major third. But I want to play that here. Watch this: root note, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7, and then the root note. Now, remember what I said, the major triad, which is your typical major chord, is a 1, a 3, and a 5. The minor triad was a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. This scale, and I really like the terminology that Sid Wolf uses where he says mother scales. This is one of our mother scales that we use in the Shawn Lane method. A mother scale is really cool because it allows you to play over several different chord tones. I want to also add in, you might see G7 or A7, B7, where it's just a 7 by itself. That's called a dominant 7 chord, okay? We're going to add the 7 here. So dominant 7 chord is a root note, a major third, a perfect fifth, and then a minor 7, and then a root note. And that gives you that. That's important because the 3 main chord families that you're going to play on 90% of all the music out there that's not jazz, I might add, rock, blues, country, you're going to have major, minor, and dominant 7. That is your money makers. Just like when we get later on, we're about to do chord progressions, 1, 4, 5. I made more money with those 3 numbers, or the 1, 4, 5, and 6. That's my money maker right there. So major, minor, and dominant 7 are your main 3 chord families that you're going to play 99% of the time, unless you're playing jazz. So the major triad is a 1, a 3, a 5. The minor triad is a 1, a flat 3, a 5. The dominant 7 major triad, but we're adding in the minor 7 interval. So here's why this is important. This mother scale here, which we call it the Mixo Blues scale. That's kind of the popular name now. Sid actually got it off. There's an old TV show, and I remember when I was at AIM in '96, and that was back in '96. You know, Sid was talking about the Barney Miller show. And we're like, what the hell is Barney Miller? It's an old cop show, but the bass line was really cool. You'll have to hear it. But so that's kind of where he got the idea for this. But anyway, check this out. We have a root note, a minor third, which makes it so it's usable over the minor triad, because 1, flat 3, 5. All right, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, which is also the tritone, or a flat 5. That's also important because a diminished triad, which is part of the diatonic chords, is a 1, a flat 3, and a flat 5. Okay, but this has that in there. So root note, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth. Okay, and then the minor 7, and then the root note. Now, you might hear a lot of people over the major chord back in the 50s and 60s, and they'd improvise over it. They would superimpose that minor pentatonic over that, because kind of the blues sound was playing the minor pentatonic over that dominant 7. But a lot of times you might hear them go. And the reason why, if it's over a major chord, this is a minor third, here's that major third. And most of those guys did not know music theory. That's just the way your ear naturally wants to gravitate to safe tones, which is why we have the pentatonics. But this scale, the Mixo Blues scale, the Barney Miller scale, one of Sid Wolf's mother scales, a major triad is a 1, a 3, a 5, okay? I want you to get into thinking this. Instead of thinking what key am I in, think about what chord am I playing over, okay? And when my chord changes, so does my playing. So I'm thinking chord, not key. And then I want you to get used to playing the chord tones all over the neck. So we're not even worried about scales right now. Just play the 1, 3, 5, or 1, flat 3, 5. Major is a 1, a major third, and a 5. 1, 3, 5, right? Minor is a 1, a flat 3, a 5. The dominant 7 is a 1, a 3, a 5, and a flat 7. The diminished triad is a 1, a flat 3, and a flat 5. Now, the reason why this is important is because your diatonic chords, meaning the chords found within the major scale, and we're going to get into this later, are your major, your minor, your diminished. And then, the dominant 7 in there when we're talking about the Mixolydian mode. And then you also are going to have the major 7, the minor 7, and the minor 7 flat 5. We're going to get into that later on down the line, okay? But the main 3 chords, 99% of the time you're going to play is major, minor, and 7, the dominant 7. It's the technical name is dominant 7, but you might see a G7, you know, so, or you might see a G minor, and you might see a G major. This scale that I got into the other day, and this is why it's so important to know intervals, has all the elements to be able to play over a major, a minor, and a dominant 7. So that's why we call this a mother scale. So root note, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, or flat 5, perfect fifth, minor 7, root note. So we're going to dive a lot further into intervals, but this is like a 22-minute introduction to intervals. And I know it sounds confusing right now, but what I really want you to do is take those interval maps that I provided, and I'm going to provide a link to my guitar noise, to the guitar noise website with my old article there. And I'm going to get them to try to link back to me, actually. But I'm going to provide this link because I want you to memorize the interval charts. I provided one where the root note was F, and I'm providing another one where the root note is G, okay? So I like the G because we can go back this way as well. But we can make the root note A. We can make it B. That's the beautiful thing about this. So the mother scale here, the mixo blues scale. All right, B, that's our new root note, right? Root note, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, minor 7 root note. Now, the minor pentatonic is a 5-tone scale, right? The major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a major 7-tone scale, okay? The mixo blues scale, or the Barney Miller scale, one of our mother scales, is a 7-tone scale, but these tones, one, you got some cool sounds, but two, it's a very applicable scale over any of the 3 main chords that we're going to be playing. So that's really important right there, or 4 chords, because we have the major, the minor, diminished, and the dominant 7. So it's a 7-tone scale. We just kind of change it around a little bit, and I call this the Swiss Army knife of scales. I'm Jimmy Hudson. I approve this message. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. I want you to go to our school account. That's where I'm going to put up this link. It's school, SKOOL. I'm going to have a link to this. I'm going to put this in the free courses. I want you to sign up. Me and Sid Wolf are both doing weekly lessons on there a few times a week. And for our paid tier, we have a free tier, and I'm going to put this on the free tier so you can kind of check it out. School is about community building. I want you to get involved with the community, get to know the other people on there, make your own contributions. This is our community. Now, here's what's cool. There's a paid membership on here, and what we're doing is we're taking the Shawn Lane methods and curriculums that Sid and Shawn worked up, and then me and Shawn also worked up some very similar stuff when I had the American Guitar Institute. We've been working on this for 30 years, but the Shawn Lane Guitar Curriculum is something that, like I said, we've been working on for 30 years, and we're finally starting to release it. And that's going to be, all the coursework for that is going to be on the paid tier. And check this out, it's only $100 a month. Now, if you were to do private guitar lessons, I know back in 2014, I was charging $50 an hour, and I know a lot of people that are charging $100 an hour. So you do that once a week, that's $400 a month. Or even at $50 an hour, if you were able to get me or Sid at that, you know, you're looking at $200 a month. Now, it's not going to be individual lessons, but it might be. I mean, if you know, but me and Sid are going to go, we're going to be going to go live, and we're going to be providing lessons at least a few times a week. It might be me, it might be Sid, but you know, it might be a group of 5 people, it might be 10 people. If we grow this thing, it might be 100 people, whatever. But it's going to be like having a live guitar teacher, because you're going to be able to ask questions and stuff. It's going to be like having a live guitar teacher in there with you remotely a few times a week. And we're going to be posting up clinics and all kinds of different courses and stuff like that. It's going to be complete music education. And right now there's an intro price of $100 a month. And it's definitely going to go up because, I mean, we feel this material, I mean, this is coming directly from Shawn Lane and us, and myself and Sid. But we're going to charge more, but you're going to be locked in at that rate. Here's the cool part about this, though, because some people are like, well, I can't afford that, man. I just don't know. I don't know if I can afford that. Well, I'm going to tell you how you can afford that. we have an affiliate program worked out through school, and you're going to love school. It's a really cool community building place. We're going to have a link. If you refer somebody to our school group and they sign up, and let's say it's $97 a month, let's just call it $100, okay? Let's say they pay $100, that affiliate link automatically gives you 40%. So that means, and that's every single month. So as long as you're a member and they're a member, the person you sign up, you're going to make $40 every single time. Every single time it hits their account, boom, you get $40 of that. And that's kind of an incentive to help us build this community, because it's your community as well. But we can all make really good money with this. So if you get 10 people a month signed up, that's $400 a month. So the $99 or $97, that gets taken out, but you're still making $300 a month. You are making money to learn guitar from a professor at the Atlanta Institute of Music, or a former professor, and the co-founder of the American Guitar Institute. I was a professor there and the co-founder, and we were both Shawn Lane students. So this is a very generous opportunity where we can all learn and we can all make some money. And hey, I mean, I can't give this information out for free. I do a lot of YouTube videos and stuff where I'm giving it out for free, and hopefully I'll monetize one day. But you know, I deserve to get paid for my work, and so does Sid. And this is years and years and years worth of work on our part. And also, you need to have some skin in the game. You need to have some skin in the game. If you pay for something, you're going to be more likely to actually use it and apply it. And that's what we want. We want you to apply what we're teaching you, because we want you to be free on your instrument. So with that said, I'm Jimmy Hudson. I approve this message.